Greetings from a fishing village on the Atlantic coast. You've tuned in to podcast Portwen, celebrating the world of Doc Martin unofficially. I'm Chesley Wexler, and we'll be discussing Doc Martin, the medicine, the mayhem, and the marvelous people of Portwen. Pauline is back today. She's a seen-it-all regular on the podcast, and today we'll be discussing Last Christmas in Portwen. With the weather we're having in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey these days, it feels very much like we've woken up in a ditch after being buried in snow. So welcome back, come through, and good to see you again, Pauline.
Hi, Chesley. Great to be back. Thoroughly enjoying it.
So, Last Christmas in Portwen.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed that one. What's your impression?
I thought that was the best for a long time, to be truthful. It seemed to cover all the bases. Everybody's story was at an interesting point, let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Some reconciliation came into it. And I felt, from my point of view, season 10 was a bit of a letdown.
Okay.
Whereas the last Christmas in Portwen, that cheered it up a bit.
Was there a delay? I mean, did they actually air it on Christmas and there was a gap between the end of season 10 and this episode?
Yes, there was. I'm sure it was scheduled to be put out on Christmas. I think it was Christmas Day. It aired here.
Now, did you know at the end of the show, when season 10 ended, did you know there was going to be one more episode, or was that a nice surprise?
I think we did. And then I found out later that actually the Last Christmas film was done first, before season 10.
Really?
So I just found that really odd. I was thinking, well, how did it keep on going, knowing that it's going to end up like that? But that's what acting's all about, isn't it?
Yeah. And good writing. You know, you figure if you have your plot line and you know how everything's going to go. The first thing we see is Martin and Louisa and James going to the grotto.
Right, yes.
And James is very excited about meeting Santa, but of course, Martin overreacts.
I feel really sorry for the character at that point when he just can't seem to help himself.
Who, Martin?
Martin, yeah.
Yeah. He just has to ruin it. Like he's just...
I don't think he really knows that he's ruining it. He's just spouting facts without any real conception of what the audience is understanding.
Doesn't he, go to the whole pagan ritual thing?
Yeah. And I mean, James is what? 4, 5, if that?
Granted, he's got a much better understanding than most children, but still.
Well, yes. But you would have thought that Martin would have appreciated that the boy is still only a boy and not really ready for conversation like that or the impact. Surely he could see that the boy wanted to believe in Father Christmas.
Yes, he should have seen that, but I don't, is he so much scarred by his own experience as a child, as well as he was an intelligent, fact-based child as well?
Yeah.
So maybe he's just projecting?
I just don't think he's got any empathy for what other people are hearing. He speaks the truth. It is the truth. We know that. And all credit to him for speaking the truth. But there's times and places.
Yeah. Yes. And there's other truths, you know? You can not only talk about a pagan ritual, but you can also say Father Christmas grew from the story of this, Saint Nicholas or whatever. I mean, there's lots of ways you can spin it if you're not going to go down the whole traditional path.
Yeah. And is it at that point? No, it isn't. When we see the flashback for one of his Christmases.
Yeah, I think that happens later. And that's one place where Chicken is actually a hero, because I think they've come home after the grotto, because I think at the grotto, Martin brings Leonard in, tests his skin. Yeah. And then Leonard goes off and goes drinking at the pub.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But James is in his room.
Yes.
And Martin and Chicken gets Martin to go check on him because he's barking like, hey, ruff, ruff, ruff.
Yeah, and he won't shut up, and he can't get James to shut the dog up, so he goes up to see what is what.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was sad, this. Instead of going in, he sort of stood there stiffly at the door.
Yeah.
What's the matter? I think he does eventually try and suss out what's the matter. So, and then he starts to explain, but he doesn't quite get there, thankfully.
Yeah. Thankfully is right. And also, it's useless to explain that to James.
Yeah.
It's not comforting at all.
No.
That's like let me tell you my problem, right? How often does that ever help?
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that. He doesn't have parenting skills.
No, it's a little bit of a sad moment, I think, in that.
Yeah.
And then I wonder, what if he had been able to explain properly? Would that have made James feel better? I doubt it.
Trying to think do we think James is an empathic child? Because would he feel bad for his father? In which case, I mean, what 5-year-old can really feel bad for something as complicated as my parents abandoned me on Christmas?
Yeah. I think that should come later in a child's development.
Yeah.
Round about the time they read Christmas Carol.
Right. Which is pretty spooky.
Well, it's pretty much the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what this whole episode was about.
Really? Say more.
I do, yes.
Tell me.
Ghost of Christmas Past, Christmas
True.
Present, Christmas Future.
That's an interesting angle on it. So Margaret is the past.
Yep.
The present is what's happening.
Right then. And
then
Martin's reluctance to enjoy Christmas, for want of a better word. And then the future at the end, where he's obviously in a better frame of mind.
Since A Christmas Carol is one of my absolute favorite things.
Yeah, I like that one.
I think it was Chicken who Chicken woke them up.
Yeah.
And then she goes and she finds that the note, right? He's gone to the North Pole and he's not there. But Martin seems like he's not taking it seriously. I thought Louisa was kind of like, it's right here. The child's not in the house and we have a note.
Yeah.
And Martin takes it like, well, obviously, James is a smart boy. He wouldn't go to the North Pole, but he's gone.
Yeah. He just doesn't get it, does he? That while James might not actually get to the North Pole, what could happen to him on the journey there?
That's right. That's right.
He doesn't seem to panic at all.
No. He's trusting the logic, right?
I think Louisa was quite restrained.
Yeah.
Compared to what she normally is like when something disastrous happens.
And fortunately, James is just at Ruth's.
Yeah.
Having some breakfast.
I love that because Ruth had seen James out by himself and obviously said to him, "What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
And of course, she got the tale of him going to the North Pole. And then had the brilliant idea of saying, "Well, don't you think you need some breakfast before you go?" And
right.
Of course, that was how she called him.
That's right, yeah. Although she is feeding his delusion that he's going, but it's not really a delusion, it's just...
Well, would she have been able to catch him if he decided that, no, he didn't want to go and stay with her, he was off to the North Pole?
Yeah, if he were running, I don't think
yeah.
Ruth was running after him.
Yeah.
Did you notice, I think we saw in one of those behind-the-scenes videos that the weatherman for predicting this snowstorm that they were going to have was Mark Crowdy, the producer?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
No, it was, I wasn't paying that much attention.
I didn't recognize him at the time, but then when I watched the behind-the-scenes things, I was like, oh, of course that's who that is.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I haven't watched that.
For people who are watching Best Medicine, Philippa Braithwaite, who is the producer of Doc Martin, as well as Martin's wife, and Mark Crowdy are both producers on Best Medicine. So that's...
Right.
And Mark was a producer on Doc Martin, major producer.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so what do we have going on next? Oh, one thing that made me laugh when James was still upset at Martin, he was going to bed, right? And he wanted his mom, not his dad. And Martin's like, do you want me to come up and read with you? Yeah. And he holds up his journal. It's the new one.
Yeah. Obviously, that's what he reads to probably both the children.
Yeah. That James must be enjoying it because I guess he thought.
Yeah.
And that's that's been the first thing he ever read to him, right? So it's a nice little tidy up that whole package, right?
Yeah. Yes. Well, that was a lovely scene that.
Yeah.
Right back in the beginning when James was a baby.
And then Martin gets the call that Margaret has died.
Yes. Yeah. And he was quite phlegmatic about it, but you could see that he was upset. I don't know whether you picked it up when he started to talk to Louisa and say, "My mother's died." Louisa's very upset for him.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't seem to be that upset. And then Louisa goes into, "But she was a horrible mother, although she was your mother." And then Martin says with a quiver in his voice, "But she stole my clock."
That's right. Yes. Yes.
I felt so sad for him.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was a moment in what was that, season 6?
Yeah, at the very end.
Yeah. And I just, that hurt me when she did that because it was just spiteful.
Yeah.
Just absolutely spiteful. She wasn't even treating it that well. She just had it thrown in her bag, and
Yeah.
that's not the proper clock.
But straight away she was there with the explanation to Louisa. Oh, yes, Martin gave it to me. Louisa should have known at that point.
Yeah, right. But yeah, he was upset. Like, she stole my clock.
Yeah.
And then I think he says something like he doesn't want the fish to be dry. Like, he's taking food out of the oven, and Louisa's trying to be nice and sympathetic. And
Yeah.
he's trying to, like,
put the hug.
trying to put the kibosh on it so the fish doesn't get overcooked.
Yeah.
Like, he's already over Margaret.
I don't know that he was over Margaret, because things happen later, and I think it was just him going into his fortress. Yeah, the straight face and not showing very much emotion.
Putting the walls up.
Yeah, but still, I was pleased that Louisa had tried.
Yeah.
She seemed more sympathetic in this episode than previous ones I've seen.
And patient, too, when you think about
Yeah.
it, because at the very beginning, when Martin closes down the grotto, she doesn't blow up at him. She's just like, there will be other grottos in other years, and she's just...
I still think I'd have been tempted to tear his head up.
He does have a duty of care. It could have been something contagious.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, we didn't know, right? And then he didn't even looking at the skin, he couldn't tell whether it was or not, and had to take a biopsy.
Yeah.
So he had a little bit of cause there.
But as Leonard wasn't laid on the floor gasping or anything like that, I'm not sure that it was that serious, that he needed to shut the whole place down.
It's possible if he didn't have any other symptoms,
he
might have let him get away with it, but he kept asking Leonard, do you have this, do you have this, do you have this? And he was like, yeah, I'm tired, I've got this, so he might have thought it was something.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
As they say, Team Martin will rally to his cause.
Definitely.
I thought he was overreacting, personally.
Yeah.
You don't have to close it down.
I wondered if he was overreacting because he was uncomfortable being there.
He certainly, does not like Christmas, and he kind of lied about it in the sense where he says, doesn't he say something like, I have no feeling about Christmas either way?
Yeah.
But I don't think that's true.
It doesn't bring back any happy memories for him.
And it brings back sad ones. I thought Ruth was interesting, learning that Margaret had died. And she's like, well, we won't speak ill of the dead. Awful woman. Terrible mother.
Yes. Yeah. That was funny, that. She had no love at all for Margaret. But then who on earth does?
That woman couldn't be colder. And Claire Bloom, I still, I'm not a fan letter writer. I get it in my head like I should write fan letters or something. But if I knew how to write her a fan letter, I would write her a fan letter. She just did such a phenomenal job playing such a loathsome person.
Yes. Yeah.
And yet, I've seen her play C.S. Lewis's wife in Through the Shadowlands. And she plays this delightful, loving American. And she's phenomenal. She's great.
Well, I must admit, for a long time, I thought she was the best actress on the show.
Claire Bloom?
I mean, she only had 2 or 3 very small scenes, relatively speaking, but she was head and shoulders above everybody else in terms of conveying that. And yeah, she should be, because she was in her late 80s, I think. I'm sure she's now in her 90s.
Okay.
And I've slowly come round to just how good Martin and Louisa are together as the actors.
Yeah.
Martin and Caroline are. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I think is just wonderful about this show is, and I would like to ask you this, actually. There was something on Facebook where there's a best medicine conversation about whether people are eccentric or caricatures. And so we're watching Best Medicine, and there's many eccentric characters that are in both series, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And I felt like I, as an American, really can't judge whether someone in an English TV show is that's a good representation of their eccentricity, or if they're being made a caricature. Like, I can't judge that. In the same way with the American characters, I can point out pretty easily, that person seems like just an eccentric person I could believe, or that's just a caricature of an eccentric person. The people who were in the smaller roles of Doc Martin, the people who kind of come and go, were they pretty good representations of just eccentric people? Or were they played as caricatures?
I think the sort of main people, that would be Bert and Al, Mrs. Tishell. I think they were definitely eccentric. I know for a good 2 or 3 seasons I detested Mrs. Tishell for her sycophantic ways of going on. I wanted to scream every time she came on the set. But then it dawned on me just what a fantastic actor she really is, because she made me feel so much anger and cringe when she appeared.
But how about some people like, the lady who makes stuff from things she just finds on the beach, or the cat lady, are they eccentric? Like, they seem genuine eccentric?
Yes, I think they're eccentric. In fact, I can't think of anyone who really captures the caricatures in the
Good.
show. They all seem fairly believable to me. Some of them were... Now, the characters that really, really interested me were the 2 old ladies.
With the tattoos?
Well, tattooed themselves. Now, I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. But can't you see people doing that too, right?
Yes, I could. Yeah, totally. So I think they were definitely eccentric characters rather than being caricatures.
You've renewed my faith in my ability to judge, because I was hoping that what you just said was the case. I felt like Doc Martin to me always seemed like almost a documentary.
Yes.
That they made in Portwen, and they're all still there. Yeah. Just no one's filming them and releasing these shows. Whereas Best Medicine, I like it. I'm enjoying it.
Uh-huh.
But it seems it's more like a TV show.
Yeah. Well, now going back to Doc Martin, and just having a quick think there, the 2 people who I thought were more caricatures was the original secretary, Eileen.
Okay.
And the other one who was definitely, I think, a caricature was Carrie Wilson of the Wilson Hotel, who carried the little Yorkie round, and who seemingly tried to seduce Martin, that, again, nearly as often as Mrs.
Yes. Yeah, when that dog got reversed upon, ow, that's a dog lover. I was just like, we've got the Joe and Janice angle with the birds, right? The 12 Days of Christmas.
Yeah. He is just totally clueless as Joe. Although, to be fair, he took up what Janice said at face value. But she thought the 12 Days of Christmas was really romantic, and somebody had done all this for this lovely lady. And of course, she'd sparked Joe's interest off, and he thought he was doing the right thing.
Yeah. I give Joe credit for that. He's a man who was paying attention.
Yeah, very few of them do.
I mean, she dropped a clue, didn't mean to drop a clue, but he picked up on it of, this woman I'm interested in, this is something that would please her. And she didn't ask for it, but I could give her this. How nice would this be?
And then he was going to do the 3 birds, then the 2 birds, then the 1 bird, and then give her an engagement ring, which the idea was really wonderful from somebody like Joe, who, to some extent, isn't all there with his marbles.
You're right. I think he got a little defeated by the fact that they were 3 Cornish hens.
Yes, instead of French hens.
Yeah, 2 pigeons.
Instead of the turtle doves.
Yes. And then the Cadillac of partridges.
Yeah, the pheasant.
But I still give him a thumbs up. I thought that was an excellent effort.
The idea was good. But what puzzled me was, why didn't he stop when he saw a reaction to the hens? He kept it going. That
would have been smart, to stop right out of that. And at least he tried to stop before he got to 1. I mean, he did try to stop that.
But then he was scuppered.
But the 2 turtle doves are a little more obvious, right? They're lovebirds.
Yeah.
So maybe he thought, well, she might have missed the point on the first one, but maybe she'll get it. Especially following 3, 2, if Janice had a brain cell.
Now you're asking a lot there.
Yeah, she would have. Just the fact that she said 3 French men.
Yeah.
Should have tipped Joe off that maybe this is not the same song that he's listening to.
No. She always did, though, from memory, take things to extremes.
Yes. Yeah. She's very, very excitable.
Yeah.
And then since we're on birds, we've got Toby the turkey and Morwenna in her brooding mode.
Yeah. I did wonder at that when she was going on about the turkey, because it didn't dawn on me. I was as surprised as Al was when the secret was revealed, and I thought he took it really well.
I loved that scene between the two of them. I think that's my favorite scene between those two in the whole series for me.
Yeah, yeah.
He's clearly touched.
And I like how Bert is always in on the money-making side.
Even with the lanterns.
He seems to just get in there. I mean, he was there at the entrance taking people's money when the children were wanting to see Santa Claus. And you can bet your bottom dollar that there was a good portion going to him as well.
He probably arranged it with Leonard, and Leonard was going to get some token fee. Right? I would have liked to have seen Al and Morwenna tell Bert that he was going to be a grandfather. We didn't get to see that.
No. He'd have dissolved into a puddle.
Yes.
It would overwhelm him.
Yeah. And I love Ian McNeese's just ability to do incredible things with his face. I would have loved to have seen that scene.
Yeah. I've recently rewatched the episode where Al's asking for his birth certificate. Ian McNeese was brilliant in that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Excellent actor. So many good actors in this show. Judy the newbie has now finished the series.
Right.
And I haven't had an opportunity to talk to her about it yet, but I think she's in a little bit of mourning that it's over.
Yeah. But she's been very lucky in that she, like me to some extent, I hadn't waited since 2004 to get to the end of the series. I'd only joined in probably 2019.
Right.
So I'd missed those interminable waits.
Yes. I would love if somebody out there wanted to talk to me for 10 or 15 minutes to just tell me what it was like to have to wait 2 years between every season. I would love to get that experience.
Yeah. I mean, most shows, they're on with the second and third before pretty much the first one's aired. I guess now, with having to wait to see what the ratings are, to see whether the next show or the next series will be commissioned, that must take a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And try and keeping people, sort of free and available. I think that's why he did do the every other year.
They must have recognized, I have no idea what the ratings were like in 2004 for that first series, but...
No, I have no idea.
If they realized what they had, because they either knew right off the bat that they had a really special show and that they had negotiating power with ITV to say, we're going to do this, but we're going to do it every 2 years.
Yeah.
Or it took a bit of time with that first year to really get a sense for it's worth renewing.
Yeah.
And then after that, it took off. And by then you've got a small pattern where you've waited a little bit and you can still get all these people to come back for you if you do the schedule every other year.
Yes.
It would be interesting. I guess I'd have to talk to somebody involved in the show to find out some of the ins and outs there. But
yeah, I have no idea what went on because, as I say, I hadn't enjoyed Men Behaving Badly. So as soon as I saw he was in it, I just didn't watch.
Yeah, that's such a bummer. There's more people like you out there, too, which is interesting. Hopefully they've heard about it by now, that he's just an actor with a lot of range and you don't have to stereotype that particular role and think, I don't like what this guy does.
Yeah. He's definitely proved over the last 20 years just what a great actor he is.
Yes. Now, you had mentioned not liking Mrs. Tishell at the beginning. In this particular show, she thinks she's dying.
Yeah.
And that's...
I felt sorry for her at that. But then I felt annoyed because why the hell didn't she go and see?
Yeah.
And get the second opinion? It's a bit like Ruth, who had decided that she'd got lupus, I think it was, that she thought she had. And then Martin eventually diagnosed the Sjögren's syndrome.
It's not unusual for these people in the healthcare industry to just decide they know best. So Mrs. Tishell, she thinks she's dying, but she's still pining for Martin.
Yeah.
Right?
At every opportunity. I'm just, what shall I say, amazed at his restraint. How he doesn't pick her up and just throw her away.
I don't see that in his DNA.
It's just, ugh.
I mean, the only time that I could ever see him really getting potentially violent was when Mr. Strain knocks Louisa over.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's like, you knocked, first of all, the mother of my child, the person I love, and she's pregnant. But he's a very restrained guy, and
yes,
other than sharing his opinion, right?
He doesn't believe in violence.
You
That's
know
what I wanted to do.
Yes. We're projecting. So she kisses him.
Yeah. She always kisses him. Any chance she gets.
I thought his reaction or his description to Louisa about being kissed was great.
Yeah.
Like, what, on the cheek, Martin? Oh, no. Right on the mouth.
Awful tang. So I think that must have cheered Louisa up a bit, remembering back to their first kiss in the taxi.
Yeah. Everybody's got bad breath that first time. So.
Yeah.
But she has a phenomenal, Mrs. Tishell has a great line when he comes back, and just get reminded, it's like, I'm sure you're very angry. Unless you're not, and you want to suggest we elope together, slipping away into the night.
She just doesn't give up, does she?
Hope springs eternal with her. So it ends up, the doc at least determines she doesn't need her neck brace.
Yeah, which is good. But it's like a crutch.
For her, it's a psychological crutch.
It is, yeah. That's what she relies on. That's part of her overall makeup, I think.
Kudos to Selena Cadell again, and Eileen Atkins for the scene between the two of them.
Yeah.
When Eileen, Ruth is trying to get the brace off of Mrs. Tishell.
Yes.
And she says, no, I'm not ready. That was beautifully done. Because she wants to hold on to that. She really does. This is hard.
I think she knows that if she lets it go, she's letting go of other things.
And that's what Ruth says, right?
Martin as well.
Yeah.
She's trying to, she's letting go of him. But she was wearing the collar before Martin ever appeared on the scene.
Yep.
So I'm wondering what else she's letting go of.
Yeah. And, I always wonder, every time I watch that episode, I'm like, don't you want that pretty Christmas pin? Because she leaves the collar behind with Ruth, and that pin's on it. I'm like, it's a really pretty pin.
Yeah. But there again, that might have reminded her of what she was missing.
Could be.
Tell you what I found funny was the number of different colour collars she had.
Did she have different color collars?
Yeah.
Did I not notice that ever?
She had a black one.
Did she?
Yeah. When she was getting made up for bed or taking her makeup up, I wasn't quite sure what she was doing. But she had the black collar on.
My goodness.
And like a negligee type thing.
That's funny. This is my sexy collar.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a riot. I have to check that out. I did not notice. Yeah. Okay, so now the main plot line here is we have Leonard Maitland has been diagnosed with celiac disease. He's already anemic, and he cuts himself.
Yeah.
And now Martin needs to go out and help Leonard. And you definitely get the sense that when Martin has to go out to Leonard, he's doing it out of a duty of care, but he also doesn't mind the fact that that's going to take him away from Christmas, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have that sense?
I think so. To me, it was more his duty of care that was the overriding driving factor. But a secondary note, as you say, is it would get him away from the festivities and what was going on. Because I remember he said to Louisa, it's a long way out of town. Don't worry if I'm not back.
Right. Yeah.
Quickly.
I may be late, and that's okay.
Yeah. And then obviously when he drives up there, the turkey is on the road because Morwenna has released it, and it somehow found its way in front of the car. So he swerves, the car's all over the place, and then he's up against a tree.
Yep.
The airbag hasn't gone off, whereas normally he only has to breathe on it and it'll go off.
The one time it's useful.
Yeah, he's hit his head.
I guess first he crashes the car. He wakes up because he's been knocked out.
Yeah.
He wakes up.
And then he sets off.
Then the bag gets set off, which is like just an insult to injury. And then he sets out to Leonard's and he tries to get cell service.
Yeah.
And that's when he falls in the ditch.
Yeah.
So he doesn't successfully call anybody.
No, that's right.
Yeah. And then it seems like a couple of hours pass, right?
That's just didn't ring true to me. If it was that cold and he'd been there that long, I'm not sure he would have survived. If he'd been there 20 minutes, then yeah. But then he goes back to the car.
One thing I have to give Martin Clunes credit for is I absolutely bought the idea that he was about as cold as a person could be when he was digging himself out of that ditch and walking back to the car, because if you've ever been truly, truly, truly cold, you walk like a robot. I mean, your fingers and toes and your muscles are stiff and you are just, and I thought he pulled that. I'm always pleased when I see somebody act something that they probably have never experienced in life.
Yeah.
And then he does get in the car and tries to start it and it won't start, tries to start it, it won't start. And I forget what Margaret says, you know, it's like you were never worth anything or something along the lines of.
Something like that.
And then he looks over and I thought it was a nice touch for the special effects people to give Martin frosty breath.
Yeah.
But not Margaret.
Yeah. I didn't notice that she didn't have frosty breath. I did notice that he did.
Mm-hmm. Because she's not really there.
No.
So she wouldn't have frosty breath.
No. Well, she wasn't there because she was dead.
Right. So to me, that whole scene was, he's hallucinating because he's got hyperthermia.
Yeah.
And he's projecting his own fear, right?
Yes. And I think that was his biggest fear of his mother. I don't
think he's losing James. I thought it was he's losing James.
No, I think it's the biggest fear he has is of his mother. He doesn't want to lose James. I agree with that. And yeah, the nasty person does say you're losing your son.
Because my thinking of that scene was that he conjured her as the way to hallucinate the fact that he was losing James. So it wasn't really that he was afraid of her or bringing up her memory because that was important to him. It was the fact that he was being a failed parent.
Yes. And she was the biggest failed parent of them all. So, yeah, I could understand him doing that. And I felt so sorry for her. Yeah. I really did.
She's just a supreme actress, just how well she pulled that off.
But I like the way he was constantly trying to insist that she wasn't there. She was just a figment of his imagination.
You're not a person, you're a symptom. I thought that the exchange he has with Margaret is very good because she, from a writing perspective and making the plot of the show move forward, you have to understand the severity of his situation.
Yes.
And so she's like, what do I have to do? I have to get this car started because I have to get heat. And what happens if you don't? Right?
Yeah.
Well, then my organs will shut down and et cetera. And then what? And, it's like he can't even say anything. And how long do you have? Just the way she says it, you're like, oh my God, how long do you have? And he's just, about an hour.
Yeah.
And there's just so much like dread in that there's not a lot of time here.
No.
And then what's her comment? Maybe less.
Yes.
Like,
It just encapsulated what she was like, didn't it?
Yes. And then he gets it started and he looks so like surprised and triumphant. And then what a clever boy.
Yeah.
And then she touches his arm and it stalls.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Like, what a scene. What a scene. And that's the point where he gets out of the car and he's like, I've got a duty of care. I'm taking my bag. I've got a patient and I'm going. And that's back to your point when he calls Louisa.
Yeah. And I thought Louisa was fairly calm given the situation because he's telling her, I've crashed the car and I don't feel very well. I'm cold. And she does say, well, I'll come out to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come and get you.
Right.
Where are you? And he doesn't know where he is.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I see light.
Yeah. What's that a quote from?
Well, there's a common trope, I don't know what to call it, that anytime somebody who's having a health crisis or they're near death and they say, I see a light, it's as if they're going to heaven.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's always been, don't go to the light. And it's also for moths to a flame. Like, don't go to the light because you'll get burned. Right? So when he says, I see light, and she goes, oh no, Martin, don't go to the light.
And then, of course, he realizes it's the lights from Leonard's house.
Right.
And he relays that to her and she says, oh, yes, go towards those.
Right. And I don't think she has a very good appreciation of the severity of the condition because he tells her I've got hypothermia, but I don't think she really realizes how close things were for him.
Yeah, which is probably just as well. But then we get into Leonard's house and he gets stood by the fire and starts to warm up, which I thought was really well portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's exactly what you would do if you were that cold. You would go and stand near the heat. And Leonard, he says to Leonard when Leonard opens the door, "You shouldn't be walking." And Leonard says, "Well, how on earth was I going to open the door?"
That's right, I had to let you in.
I'm sure he wanted to say, "How was I going to open the door?"
Yes.
But
I liked Leonard.
Yeah, they were restrained. So the chat about Christmas and what it meant and what it would mean to Martin's family if he wasn't there, I think that did enlighten him.
Yeah.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
So
I enjoyed that scene.
well, that's what I mean by Christmas present.
Yeah, I like that. And in both meanings of the word present, in a sense.
Yes.
That was a present that Leonard gave him that would help him have a better future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
I thought Martin showed some growth there growth from the whole series, when Leonard is talking about, and then my wife died, December 23rd.
Yes.
And Martin actually says, "Yes, I remember. It was very sad."
Yeah.
And it's unusual to see Martin commiserate or empathize or sympathize with anyone. And I thought that showed growth in the character.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
He sort of encouraged Leonard to go on with that,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously Leonard did.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see it starting to dawn on Martin what he was going to miss if he didn't make the effort. Because at first he was going to say, "Oh, well, I'll just stay here and I'll look after you." And obviously he was intent on still missing Christmas until Leonard says, "You'll only ruin Christmas by not being there."
That's right. Martin does a lot of hemming and hawing about, "Oh, well, I have to do this. Well, I have to do that." And Leonard just keeps putting it right back at him. "You said we don't have to do that, Doc. You said it's not an emergency right now."
Yeah. I had to laugh when I saw the transport.
Yes. Well done.
Yeah.
And Leonard gives it to Martin. I mean, he doesn't mince words. I think that shows that you really can't change Martin with subtlety, right? So he's basically telling him the only way you can miss it is not by not being there, because it's when your family wants you there, even if you're an irritating bugger.
Yes.
Right?
Which he is.
And it's nothing subtle about that. Leonard just lays it on the line.
But I think, well, that's obviously what it took to get it through Martin's head that, yes, he really was needed. And yes, the biggest disappointment would be not being there.
Yeah.
For him as well.
Right. Yes. Leonard would hate to miss that. Look at all the work he did on his sleigh.
Yeah. I do wonder how he got that sleigh down all those slippery roads.
And how they got that enormous vehicle into Port Isaac. Like, where did they film that? Because those roads, man. But that sleigh, it would surprise me if it really was able to get through a lot of those streets of Cornwall, because they're pretty small.
Yeah. But a lot of the Cornish towns are like that. But they were built hundreds of years ago, so...
Yeah, it's for horse carts and things like that. And pedestrian traffic.
Yeah.
But so, they go in, Martin's driving, Leonard's having a great time. Joe seems to take Leonard's arrival quite phlegmatically, right?
Joe's, yes. I was surprised. I thought he was going to insist that he was the Santa.
Yes.
But, as you say, he knuckled down and walked in front to clear the crowds out of the way. Martin did a good job of negotiating the last 100 yards.
Right, yeah.
You could see he was touched when James came over. "Daddy!"
Yeah, and he clambers over him to go for a ride, and just such a touching scene at the end when he's finally, "Did you enjoy that?"
Yeah, yes. And then, of course, there's the final scenes.
Yes.
The way he looks at Louisa, I thought that was wonderful.
Yeah. They're in a good spot. They're in a good relationship space at the end.
Yes, yeah. And at least Louisa isn't as flighty about it. I think she's a lot more secure in the relationship, and that comes across to me. But it was unfortunate that, having lit the lantern to take away all his troubles and woes, the wind blows it back onto the Christmas tree. It goes up in flames.
But wasn't that perfect? It was just like, that was perfect to me. If Margaret can ruin something, she can even ruin it now.
Yeah. I think, though, that from then on, things will be a lot better.
They really seemed, I thought in season 10, completely, they're in a rhythm now.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be as much
Friction.
contention,
Yeah.
friction. And then, in this last episode, you really see them just confident and comfortable in each other. And you really kind of get a smile.
Yes. Oh, at the end, yes. It was lovely.
Yep.
What we'd waited for.
Yeah. Yes. I do have a sense that Martin in particular, he was ready to put a bow on it and be done.
Yes,
with the
I
show.
think so.
Yeah.
Looking back at it from my point of view, I do think that the whole cast is conscious that they're not getting any younger.
Mm-hmm.
How much longer could they keep going with that 2-year gap?
Mm-hmm.
They could have done another one because everybody is still alive.
Right. I still want a movie. I want a movie. Come on. There's so much that you can do in a movie. Time has passed. You can do all sorts of stuff with the timelines. I've got a whole bunch of ideas in my head. They could call me if they want.
Yeah, but would you accept any other actor in the roles?
No other actors. We'd have to get all the same people.
Yeah.
But if Downton Abbey can do it, so can Doc Martin.
Yeah, but I don't.
Feature films have serious buckaroos. I mean, if they could not have to spend gazillions of dollars to do it, there's a built-in crowd that would absolutely go see it, probably more than once.
Yes, I would definitely go and see it.
Yeah.
But
and buy
I think you'd be struggling with the actors. You certainly wouldn't get Claire Bloom in, I don't think, unless it was retrospectively taking the clips out of.
But you don't need her anymore, right? I kind of feel like her plot line has been tidied up and finished. Yeah. But still, give it a month. Do your filming. No.
Well, is that about it? Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, all they have to do is fast forward the children's ages, and everybody else then makes sense. And there's a lot of fun that they could do with it. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I hope we get a movie. As usual, Pauline, I thoroughly enjoy talking to you, and this has been a lot of fun again. I hope we have potentially other opportunities, whether on camera or not, to chit-chat about our favorite show or anything that you'd be interested in. And anybody out there who's enjoyed this, I hope that you will like it and subscribe to the feed. We've got plenty of things still coming for Doc Martin, as well as our Best Medicine episode-by-episode thing. So thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining Podcast Portwen. Podcast Portwen is an independent fan production, not affiliated with, endorsed by, or sponsored by Buffalo Pictures, ITV, Fox, or the creators of Doc Martin or Best Medicine.